Welcome back to the show, 719 here in Central Arkansas. Just had a conversation with our Attorney General, Dustin McDaniel. Says our death penalty procedure is broken and has some thoughts on what needs to be changed to get things back in line. And that race right there is heating up. We have three folks that have now announced they're running for Attorney General. Just yesterday, Nate Steele announced he's running on the Democratic side for Attorney General. We've had Leslie Rutledge, an attorney, running as a Republican for Attorney General, and also David Sterling, North Little Rock attorney, has announced he is running as a Republican, and I'm happy to be joined with Mr. Sterling right now. David, thanks, and good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, Alice.
I'm glad you could join us, and you've been at this for quite some time. You were the first person to announce you're running. You've been around the state. I've seen you at many events. I want you to tell folks about your background and why you made the decision to seek this office.
Well, before I get started, again, thank you for having me on, and I just want to refer everybody to my website. It's www.sterlingforag.com, and there you can find everything you want to know about me and my background and experience. And, any questions I don't answer today with you, they can go there and find that. Again, www.sterling4ag.com. But a little bit about me. I grew up in Texarkana. My dad was a carpenter. My mom was a nurse. And so I can pretty much handle almost everything, nicks and scratches and wounds and everything around here. I talk very well, but been married for 21 years. My lovely wife, Deanie, who's been very supportive through this campaign, and have a 10-year-old daughter who I adore and really want to protect and use the AG's office to protect kids just like her across the state of Arkansas. I've been in practice now for about 15 years. I've been rated the highest AV rating with the Martindale-Hubbell group. AV, stands for my high legal ability and ethical standards, and I've just got a lot of experience going into this campaign, and I think it's time now to kind of put aside my own personal well-being, my own personal gains, and just kind of, make a sacrifice for myself, commit myself to public service for the next, hopefully for the next 10 years, 2 years of campaigning, and then hopefully 2 4-year terms and everything. And my sole focus is on the AG's race right now, and just trying to represent Arkansas and standing up to an overreaching federal government that I think is creeping in on state authority and individual liberties, and I think in violation of the 10th Amendment as our founding fathers originally outlined it.
A lot of folks don't realize what all the Attorney General does. It's such a wide variety of responsibilities and duties, but the federal overreach is key and significant. And as it was this past time with Obamacare being implemented, a lot of attorneys general from across the country joined forces to try and stop it from being implemented in their state. But when you say you want to protect Arkansas from the federal overreach, elaborate on that a little bit. And what ways will you do that, and what will be your priorities in that area?
Well, I think that, I think the greatest challenge facing all Arkansans is that overreaching federal government. When the founding fathers put together the Constitution, one of the founding principles, and I think the heart and soul of our federal Constitution is the 10th Amendment, that really makes a division of authority between the federal government and the states. They say that, anything all the powers enumerated in the Constitution to the federal government that's it. It limits that federal authority, and it delegates all other authority to the states. And what I think you've seen through the years, a lot of times through the power of the federal taxpayer's dollar, that comes with strings attached to it. You have federal dollars going to the states, but it has strings attached to it. And the federal government has been using those strings to really, I think, trample state authority and individual liberties, compel states to submit to the federal government. And then there's big intrusions, I think. I think the federal government or the founding fathers, I should say, really prescribe limitations on the federal government as well. I mean, they put as a Second Amendment to the Constitution the right to keep and bear arms, and said that it shall not be infringed. But I think that every single crisis you see in the on the national level, whether it's in Newtown, Connecticut, or in Aurora, Colorado, you see Congress jumping on the opportunity to start restricting our Second Amendment rights. And I think that absolutely ridiculous if they keep doing that sort of thing, particularly when every single piece of legislation that's been introduced on a national level would do absolutely nothing to prevent those heinous crimes.
I want to ask you this question. My guest is David Sterling. He's a candidate for Attorney General. And David, so much of what the AG's office does is consumer protection and prevent price gouging. And we see stories every day when there's bad weather, people come in and price gouge and just overall consumer protection. But more and more these days, the online predators and what the Internet has done to rob our children of their innocence. How much of that will be part of your priority in this campaign?
Well, I think it should be a priority of everybody that's running in this campaign, not only running in a campaign, but I think also whoever is the Attorney General historically as well into the future. I mean, that's a big part of the AG's office, and everybody should. And from what I've seen, they have that as part of their platform, and I do too. And I think that it's something that really needs to be focused on. But I think that what distinguishes my candidacy from everybody else's is my focus on steering the AG's office into fighting back against the federal government that I think is trampling state authority and individual liberties. And again, if you go to my website, again, www.sterlingforag.com, you'll see that I've got an issues tab there that talks about what I will do in the area of preventing online predators and child abductions, as well as preventing Medicaid waste, fraud, and abuse, and a host of other issues that obviously we don't have time to talk about every one of them that's going to be at issue in this campaign. But, I support traditional marriage, and, Arkansas voters voted in 2004 to define marriages between one man and one woman, and it's part of our Constitution. It's not just a policy. It's not just a law. I mean, it is a part of our Constitution that was weaved in there in 2004 by an overwhelming majority, by 75% of Arkansans voted for that. And you see, I think it was last Friday, that there was a lawsuit filed trying to strike that down. And I think that, our definition of marriage, talks about several things. It's about religious liberty. It's about it's about state authority. It's about, and the federal government and individuals coming after that and trying to tear down our definition of marriage, I think, is a violation of the Constitution.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts and also the opportunity to speak with you, David Sterling, a Republican candidate for Attorney General. And as he said, you can go to sterlingforag.com and find out more. David, thank you for your time, and best of luck out there on the campaign trail.
Thank you so much, Alice. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day. That race.
Bye-bye.
All right. That race is really heating up, Jessica. We have him.